saying something, but the writing's on the wall. But they want it all in a hopeless place. I'm trying to erase what you have done. I'm thinking that I finally come undone. Cities all creep in your dreams when nothing's right. Believe in nothing, but you pray that it's alright. But you wanted to get mystified. I'm dying just to feel like I'm alive. I'm thinking that I've hate what we've become.
We left Elantxobe around the 14th of July, sailing towards Bilbao, where we were going to meet Eleanor's parents. They're riding up from Italy on their motorbike. We caught a couple of mackerel on the way and made ceviche, which was really tasty.
Everyone's gone, but you don't look back. 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 And I want it all in a broken place. I'm trying to escape what you have done. I'm thinking that I'm always on the run, away from nothing.
At the very end of our Biscay crossing, just as we were entering Elantxobe, my parents got in touch and asked us if we could meet up somewhere along the way, which was a really nice surprise. So we decided to meet up in Bilbao, the next anchorage along the coast, and they came all the way from Italy on their touring motorbikes, and they got a hotel just across from our anchorage on the promenade in Bilbao. We spent 3 days together and explored Bilbao, so we went to the Guggenheim Museum, the city centre and the old town, all really lovely places. And then we also took them out on a sail, which ended up to be more of a motor because the weather wasn't very accurate. And when they were on board, they were shocked to find out that we didn't have a fridge, so they decided to buy us a fridge. And there's no saying no to my parents, only thank you. So we now have a small fridge on board, which is really, really nice. So we were very grateful for that.
So today we're going rock climbing to a place called Erdalitz, which is near Bilbao. We can do some easy stuff to ease ourselves back into climbing, as we haven't been climbing in quite a long time.
Looking at the moon, dancing around the earth, orbiting around you in a complete confusion. Turning around you, I'm formless matter, orbiting like a moon. I fly around you.
So we're leaving Bilbao. We've been here about a week and a half. It's been really good amenities, but probably stayed a bit too long now, so we're quite keen to go. The harbour water here is not really very attractive, so we want to go somewhere where we can swim in the sea really. We're going to Castro Urdiales, which is a couple of hours up the coast. Since we've been in Bilbao, the wind's been against us the whole time for moving on, so we've been here a bit longer than we intended to. But now there's pretty much zero wind, we're going to take advantage of it and just poodle up the coast a bit.
Turning around you, I'm a formless mother, unpredictable.
We managed to sail most of the way from Bilbao to Castro Urdiales. The winds were really light, but it didn't really matter because we didn't have very far to go, so we just took our time and sailed the whole way. There were quite a few big ships manoeuvring outside of Bilbao harbour, but they didn't really present any problems, they were just anchoring.
Castro Urdiales is a really nice town. We got there in the afternoon around 3 p.m. and went alongside the wall, which takes quite a bit of rope work. Just as soon as we were ready and all set, our neighbours on a French boat told us that on that night there was a rowing race just in front of the wall, so no boats were allowed to stay put for the night until at least 8 or 9 p.m. So we had to re-anchor out in the harbour, and the yacht club harbour master came round and tried to charge us for anchoring, but we clarified with them that that was for the use of the yacht club, which we didn't need to use as we were going back on the wall as soon as the race was over. So we escaped the fee, but our friends on Chardonnay on another boat couldn't clarify this detail, not being able to speak Spanish, so they were charged for anchoring, and therefore they left the next day as soon as they could. Instead, we spent quite a few days in Castro Urdiales. We really enjoyed the town, and it was really fun to watch the locals walk on the wall every night, parading in their best outfits up and down the wall. And they were very, very curious about Kittiwake. I don't think anyone has ever seen a catamaran, let alone one as particular as this. So we were stared at quite a lot.
Looking at her, dancing round the earth, dancing with the stars.
After 3 days in Castro Urdiales, we wanted to head on to Laredo. We struggled a bit because the winds were just a bit too light to really sail. So after a couple of times of trying to sail, we ended up just motoring most of the way, which was a bit of a shame. But the scenery was really stunning.
We got a bit worried about the tide. It's really high tide now. So Ryan's tying together 2 of our ropes to make an extra long line to tie the dinghy to. So hopefully when we come back, Marika won't be dangling off in the air. We stayed in Laredo for quite a few days in some bad weather and some excellent weather as well. We did a lot of work when there was bad weather, but the actual town and beach felt quite touristy, so not really our cup of tea. So on a good day we went out to the cliffs and anchored in front of them and went for a nice snorkel and a free dive, and that was a lot of fun.
Won't you let me walk you home from school? Won't you let me meet you at the pool? Maybe Friday I can get tickets for the band, and I'll take you. Won't you tell your dad, get off my back?
Look at this. Perfect day to do a ton of work. Some crazy fishermen out. 2 of them. Die-hard fishermen. But it's perfectly still, so it's going to be great working on the laptop.
The sail from Laredo to Santander was more or less the same as the sail from Castro Urdiales to Laredo. We didn't really have strong enough winds to move the boat along under sail, so we ended up motoring a bit of the way.
I got 3 mackerels.
Would you be an outlaw for my love?
We're at Santander, in probably the worst anchorage in Europe. There's a ferry port just over there where ferries fly past, making a huge wake.
Really close to us.
And then there's this huge boats going up and down, ships going up and down the channel, not too far away. But there's a race that seems to be ending at the yacht club, which is just behind, which is really cool because there's loads of racing yachts coming up with their spinnakers on, which is quite good.
As we arrived in Santander, we anchored in front of the town centre, and we ended up in a very wealthy upmarket kind of area. From there we went all the way out to the airport area, where there was a Yamaha dealer where we could get a lot of little bits and bobs to service the engine, so our main engine for the boat. And there was a really lovely old man in the shop who was being very kind, trying to communicate with my limited Spanish, and he even took the time to teach me the seasons in Spanish, so it was really great. And we managed to find everything we needed for the engine. So we just left Santander around 7 AM. We're heading to San Vicente de la Barquera, and it seems like today is a go. It's really nice out here, even though it's cloudy. There's been a really nice sunrise as well. There's about 10 knots of wind and it's currently on the beam on the starboard side. So we're on a beam reach and we're doing anywhere between 3 and 6 knots. So maybe 4.5. Yeah, it's really pleasant and it should take us around 10 hours to get to our destination.
If it's not, I can't go. I won't make you.
Because Kittiwake is a catamaran, it can dry out at low tide because it's got 2 hulls obviously, so it can support itself without falling over. That's a great advantage because that means that anywhere where there is quite a dramatic tide change, we can dry out and clean the hull or check on any through holes or anything like that. So we decided to take advantage of this in San Vicente de la Barquera and dried out right next to the channel so that we were kind of sure that we could get away as soon as the high tide came back. But we actually ended up spending quite a few days on this kind of sandy island in the middle of the harbour, which was great because every night we could get a really good sleep. But it was quite a way to get into town from there once the tide was low because we had to go all the way across the channel. But yeah, it was great to get the hull clean and have a look at everything, all the little scratches that we had, and be really sure that everything was okay. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe to our channel, which really helps us. And if you'd like to support the making of our videos, you can do so on Patreon. There is a link in the description below and it's patreon.com/sailingkittiwake. And we'd also like to thank all of our patrons who have supported us so far, and give a special thanks to 2 of our patrons. One is our brand new patron James, who kindly and very generously pledged $50 per video. Thank you ever so much, James. If you could have a look at your Patreon notifications, there's a message there for you because we'd love to send you a postcard. And the other special person is Simon Pownell, who went out of his way and got us a brand new ensign because ours was already getting ghostly back in France and Spain, but it made it all the way down to Portugal, so this is real time. It's been a bit patched up, so we are now ready to haul out. So we won't put this up just yet, but we'll put it up as soon as we're back in the water in spring 2018. Thank you ever so much, Simon, and for everyone else as well, to watching our videos and supporting us.